Hi everyone, this is Marie Blue Angel, and today I am back with A Romantic Murder. This is another Tomy Jam 2023 entry. It is a demo with expectations for a full release game to be available towards the end of this year, so I'm very much looking forward to that. And as the title says, we have murder, we have romance, we are a detective solving an investigation, and we meet with potential suspects, potential romanceable characters, but also they are suspects in the murder we are investigating. How fun! Mixing business with pleasure. One of my favorite things when it comes to these fictional games. I like the opening screen that we get. Like, we get the snow, and just a second ago there was someone at the window with the light on, which is very intriguing. So, without further ado, let's get started. Who are you? I'm a detective. That's what matters. My name, it's. I'll use Chantal. Start the game. Ooh, I like this background. I also like this interface. Oddly, a monocle is twice as good as glasses. I do like the monocle. It's very detective-y. A detective hat is their pride. Family tree. Evidence. Wait, what does this mean for real? If I click on it. Huh? I can't click on it. Okay, maybe not right now. Back, forward, save, load, home. Toggle. Ooh, I really like this interface. Okay. Let's get started. The floor creaks lightly under careful footsteps as they move towards the bed where the old man lies. After a moment's muffled activity, they withdraw. Ooh, the suspect? As the door closes, the figure turns once more towards the bed. Stupid old man. Grumble, grumble. I'm assuming, based on what I've seen on the game page, that murder is a man, or at least based the love interest is also a murderer, so has a masculine voice. So I will just do stupid old man. The door closes again. Make better choices in your next life. Who could it be, this shadowy figure? Father? Father! Day 0. A detective arrives. That's us. Sitting in the hired car, I watch the increasingly rural scenery go by with a mixture of dread and a somewhat guilty excitement. Ooh, we're cute. Look at our little detective outfit. I love it. And we have a stern expression on our face. We mean serious business. This is definitely shaping up to be something altogether different than the usual cases I've taken on so far. For one thing, those looking to catch sneak thieves and adulterers didn't usually offer to hire me a car, much less provide a first-class train ticket. That is suspicious. It's a different type of case. Maybe I should have said no, or pretended not to receive the letter. The car jolts upwards with a force that almost propels me into the roof of the car. Sorry, miss. Oh. Say that it's fine. Pretend that I didn't even notice. Say something rude about his driving. Okay, well, the driver said sorry without me even asking about it. So I don't think I need to be rude to him. Say that it's fine. It's fine. That has to be expected on roads like this. The driver visibly brightens. That's true, miss. Isn't that so? I'm always telling Alice. That's my wife, miss. I'm always telling Alice that we should move to the city. The country life's no life at all, really. You seem quite nice. I hope I don't have to suspect you in a murder. Aye. That's the God-honest truth, isn't it? You wouldn't want to live out here. Not a lady like you. The driver peers back over his shoulder, his eyes seeming to bore into mine instead of remaining usually attached to the usefully attached to the road. You should be looking at the road, sir. I find myself nodding as if hypnotized, perhaps due to the increased jolting of the vehicle that results from his divided attention. Satisfied, the driver turns back to face the road. In fact, this little episode with the driver was something of a godsend, or at least has prevented me from diving out the door and attempting to make my way Londonward through the shrubbery. Should I try for an English accent? I can't really do those well. It's just going to sound not great. That's right. I've told too many people back home that I'm doing this. Accountability at its finest. I can't back out now. I have to do this. I can do this. You can do it. I believe in you. In any case, whether or not I really believe that, we've arrived. Ugh. Okay, kind of ominous. I like that sound effect there. Good placement. It looks kind of dead in winter, but that happens in wintertime. Here you are, miss, and I must say that was quite a drive. The driver races around the side of the car, opening my door and gathering my luggage with a level of aplomb that wouldn't have disgraced a chauffeur. I shouldn't say so, this being my living and such, but I don't understand why people want to live in these big old places. Terrible plumbing, dodgy heat. And this winter has been so unpredictable. I suspect the money helps. With raised eyebrow. The driver laughs. Money isn't everything, miss. Besides, even that's of more use in the city, isn't it? That's true. You can hire someone to do anything in the city. In the city, I hear. Out here, who are you gonna hire? The squirrels. That's true. Good point. He laughs uproariously at his own joke. Us. The driver looks taken aback for a moment and then laughs again. That's right, miss, that's right. We have to stick together, us working folk, don't we? So, I'll let you in on something. The driver leans towards me, his voice shifting into a secretive murmur. I wouldn't stay here too long. Not if you can help it. Especially not a pretty little thing like you. Don't appreciate that comment, but there you go. All at once, the nerves in my stomach settle as I feel a familiar excitement start to rise. Oh, and why would that be, I wonder? The driver shakes his head. Let's just say that this is not a happy house, miss. Not a happy house at all. Okay, well, appreciate the warning. Particularly unsuited for pretty things. But the driver just shakes his head again and will withdraw no more. He tips his hat to me and is back on the road, departing with a speed that makes it clear that his previous pace was intended, in some painfully misguided way, to be considerate. This is Mr. Fast and Furious right now. I love that. I watch him go. The cold wind bites at my ankles as I stand at the entrance. Such an imposing aura. Here goes nothing. I ring the doorbell with only slightly shaken confidence. If by some chance an internal mechanism moves within as a result, then the walls are too thick to let any sound escape. What would be the appropriate length of time to wait before ringing again? I don't know. For a moment, my desire not to appear to my most prestigious clients by banging on the door like an over-anxious salesman wars with a sudden worry that nobody would answer. That I would just stand out here, as snow built up around my feet, dying from exposure and over-politeness. Maybe I'll try the door knocker. Oh, is this the butler who can't keep the shirt buttoned all the way? Hi. Hello, Blink. Base. Who are you? What do you think you're doing? Why are you even here? Okay. Go away. My brain stalls as I try to think of any answer beyond the obvious, but no, none present themselves to me. Well, this isn't a good time. Don't you know that? How did you get out here? You have to leave. Okay, rude person. Also, I love your hair. It's icy blue. Oh my god, stop. His eyes lift from mine to gaze out to the drive as if a car might sublimate out of the air and helpfully carry me off. Ugh. I did not need this. Answer his rudeness literally, ask him some questions of my own, pick up my luggage, and prepare for the long walk to town. I mean, we have a case. I like being rude when people are rude back to me, so... I'm ringing at the doorbell to come inside. No. What? I'm ringing the doorbell so that someone will open it and I can come inside. I will not be going away. Oh, and I'm aware that this is a troublesome time for the household, so I came here by car for completion's sake, and I will not be leaving. Does that cover everything? Or do you have any other overbearing and inappropriate questions for me? It is cold out here. You may have noticed. Yes. Ugh. You'll regret it, you know. I already do. Well then, come right in. Like, regret coming in and starting the case? I'm assuming that's what this man meant, and not being rude to the man. As I start to enter, an older man appears from the depths of the house. Nick, what are you doing out here? Is that the guest? How many times have I told you? Don't answer the door. You're a valet! A valet! He's the valet. The butler's not happy. Was. What? I was a valet. Now that the old man is finally dead, I've got nothing left to do. Okay, so you're the valet. Don't talk about the master like that, you... Yeah, I've heard it before. Without sparing me another look, he strides past the butler and into the house, waving his hand idly. I love your outfit, by the way. I just love a man in a waistcoat. I'm going to see if I can help the cook. Bye-bye. Don't you dare. And he's gone. The butler gives a long sigh. My apologies, miss. I'm afraid he has rather shown his true colors after the master passed. Please don't take anything he says about Mr. Graves to heart. I assure you that our master was a man of unimpeachable character. He coughs. He coughs before drawing himself up and giving me a light bow. Welcome to Vehisod Manor, miss. Please follow me. The young mistress has been expecting you. So it's the guy's daughter, right? Okay. Let's see what will happen. As I follow behind him, I cast a glance over my shoulder at where the valet had disappeared into the dark corridors. The butler seems to be implying that the valet didn't like his late employer, but that doesn't quite add up. Nobody hacks their belt to pieces to make a mourning band for someone they didn't care about. A mourning band. That's what that was. That is true. Astute observation. Mr. Haverly. Okay. So I said, no matter how silly it is, it's a deathbed request, darling. You can't just toss those aside, you know. Fellow makes a deathbed request, so you do it. It's a waste of money. Well, we can afford to waste some, can't we? At least we can now, and if it's for your father, then... The wife, the young mistress, frowns a little deeper, but subsides. Yes, for my father. Eerily in unison, the two turn to face me, as if finally remembering that I exist. So, you see why we've called you here. I do hope you will live up to my father's expectations. I will endeavor to do so, of course, but I'm afraid I don't know how to put this tactfully. You haven't actually told me what his expectations were. Your letter only said that you wanted to hire me in connection with your father's death. Yes, that's right, of course. Not us, you understand. This was his wish. No. No, I do not understand. Your father wanted to hire me to investigate his death. Yes, that's right. His suspicious death. Don't forget that part. Very important part, that. Nonsense. He was in his 90s. There's nothing suspicious about it. Deathbed request, dear. His wife subsides again. Was this why the valet told me that I'd regret coming here? I'm starting to agree. Pardon me. I just want to be sure I'm clear on this. Your father asked you to hire me to investigate his suspicious death whilst he was dying? Yes. No. Well, not in so many words, you see. He left a letter, that is, to be opened in the event of his death. His suspicious death. No. Spot on, darling, just as you said. You've spoken a true word there. Yes, the doctor did say it was natural causes, and of course I made sure to confirm this for myself as well. I'm a doctor myself, you see. Not the sort that sees people in this type of manner, of course. Just a country doctor, that's me. That's more than most people are, dear. Thank you, love. But the point is, he left this letter, open in event of my death between these dates. So that's suspicious in itself, you see. He cast a sidelong glance at his wife, as if expecting a rebuttal, but she seems to agree. That is suspicious. How would he foresee that? Someone in this manor killed you. So I take it that he did die between those dates. Yes, that's correct. Right on the very first day named on the letter. Okay, new evidence added. A grave affair. Ask about, well, how he died, natural causes, what exactly the letter said, their relationship to the deceased, what they expect you to do. I'm curious about what the letter said, because we kind of know that he died natural causes, though we can always ask about how he died later or figure that out. It was the strangest thing, you know. Nobody expects that, do they? A loved one passes, and there, whilst you're racked with grief, a letter from beyond. Gave us quite a turn, didn't it, love? You were white as a ghost. Well, you wouldn't have seen yourself. Not looking in many mirrors these days, my girl, and all the better for it. But it startled me. I don't mind saying that much. A letter right there on his dresser, telling us bold as brass what he wanted us to do. Not that that was something new in and of itself. My father was always one to speak his mind. Just the timing, if you catch my drift. I once questioned a man minutes after his hand had been accidentally severed. I'd come away from it, bloodied, and with half my hearing gone from the screaming. Until today, that was my single worst experience interviewing a witness. And what were the contents of the letter? Oh, but we've already said. Yes. No. It said to get you, of course. Why else would we have sent for you? Don't mean to be harsh, my dear, but we don't generally hire random lady detectives. Not our milieu, you must understand. Of course. So it said that you should send for me to come here to, I assume, investigate his death. Sorry, I already forgot that. Oh my gosh. To find out who, if anyone, murdered him. Yes. Which, since he died of natural causes, should be fairly simple. What? A nice weekend in the country for you. I'm so pleased to have gained some actual information that I tactfully decide not to mention that a fair amount of the bodies I've seen were originally thought to have died from natural causes. Of course. And how exactly did your father come to hear of me? Even by the most optimistic standards, I don't flatter myself in thinking that I'm a household name. I assumed you were acquainted in one way or another. No, I don't believe I ever met him. The two exchanged glances. Of course. It's a mystery, then. They don't believe me, but then, I'm not sure even I'd believe myself. How did he know my name and apparently my address? How he died. Peacefully in his sleep, the old lamb. Not the worst way to go, I'd say. His wife frowns. Not that any way would have been good to lose him, of course. But I've seen some things as a doctor. I wouldn't mind going that way myself when the time comes. Isn't that right, dear? Yes. Yes. Just as she says. In any case, he died during the night. I'll always forget that we weren't here when it happened. He must have felt so alone. Well, dear, there were almost 20 servants here. You can't really call that alone, can you? Servants, they're not family. Or people, I gather from her tone. So the servants here were also present when your father passed? Yes, of course. No. Well, no and yes. We had to let most of them go, of course. Can't afford to keep paying them when we don't know what the will is going to say. Not with our savings. Right. Nothing. Now, dear, don't discourage her. Investigate, that's the ticket. Observe the will reading. Rifle through the drawers, all those sorts of things. I don't really do... Then in 2 days you can give us the all clear. We'll all feel at peace knowing that you've done the best we can. Naturally, your fee will be paid regardless. We don't want to give you an incentive to start accusing people willy-nilly, do we? He laughs heartily, the movement shaking his whole body. I read that in the voice. Still, the expenses. Deathbed request, dear, for your father. I wonder how many times this particular exchange has happened, and why he seems more inclined to investigate his father-in-law's death than his wife is. Well, that's clear enough. I'll do my best to provide a satisfactory answer to you. I share a nod with the couple, genial agreement all around, though I'm not sure how much that can be trusted. Ask about... The wife fixes me with a long stare that holds a degree of iciness which has been hitherto reserved for her husband. I would think that having constantly referred to him as my father would have answered that question. Now, dear, don't bully the poor girl. She's just covering all the bases, I'm sure. I'm her husband, by the by, in case that wasn't clear. Wouldn't want you to think I'm on the market. His quick wink is almost hidden by his laugh. It's also visible on the side of his face that is turned away from his wife. Interesting. Thank you for understanding. Were you his only child, may I ask? I had a sister. Yes, Judith. She died as well, but years ago, you understand. Married a viscount, of course, when she was alive. Well, growing up in this place, it's no wonder. He turns what seems to be a genuinely doting smile on his wife, which she returns in a barely visible quirk of her lips. My dear, rather married below her station with me, I'm afraid. No. They stare at each other for a moment in silence, smiling. I hate to interrupt them, but... So you're the late man's only living relative? Oh, no. There's our son, of course, Crispian. Crispian? Fun name. And Judith's son, James, my nephew. And some other relatives around the country, of course, but those are distant, very distant. And not mentioned in the will, of course, so you won't see them tomorrow. I freeze. I'm sorry? What exactly will be happening tomorrow? The will reading. Yes, as we said. They definitely hadn't said that. Well, not tomorrow, but they mentioned a will reading. So you've invited me here for this will reading. Was this also per your father's request? Yes. Yes, of course, but just common sense, really. Who'd kill him if not for money, eh? He had pots of it, you know. Not that anyone killed him, of course. Just thought we'd get you down at the right time, you see. Give you the best possible chance to solve this. I can think of a lot of reasons other than money that people might be driven to murder. Some of them directly apply to the people in this room. Yes, of course, thank you. Nothing more. Well, I've asked all the questions that I can think of for now. Thank you for your help. Of course, of course. Stevens will show you to your room so that you can get settled. Dinner is at 6. Yes, of course. Dinner. You can meet our son, eh? And his fiancée is here. That'll be nice for you. He winks. Wouldn't want to be trapped with us men all weekend, right? And with that, the butler takes me away. Well, this is by far the nicest room that I've ever stayed in. So why do I feel like I'd be safer back in my tiny rented room, kicking the heater alive and wearing gloves indoors? 'Cause it's suspicious. What is going to happen? I have no clue. Okay, let's see. On the surface, there's very little justification for this feeling. A man has died here, yes, but apparently from natural causes. Other than that rude valet, everyone here seems to see my visit as little more than a formality. Even so, I can't help but recall the driver's words. I shouldn't stay here too long, he'd said. But why? And why the specific reference to my safety as a woman? The husband did shoot me a questionable wink. Could he be the possible source of danger? But I gather that he doesn't live here most of the time. Would an occasional visit be enough to paint him as a scourge to women? The valet had said I'd regret coming here as well. Where, if anywhere, does that fit in? Well, nothing left but to do my best to investigate. Some of the sense of dread I feel fades away as I come to the decision. Whether or not there's been a murder here, there's at least one mystery at hand. How did Mr. Graves hear of me? And why did he think that his death was near? I'll find out. About that, and about his actual cause of death. My clients may not take me seriously, but that doesn't matter. I've been hired to do a job, and I'll be damned if I don't do it. Even if they don't want me to in the end. Someone knocks on the door. Excuse me, miss. I've been asked to escort you down to dinner. Oh my gosh, I love your hair. So cute. Oh, thank you. I didn't realize it had become so late. It's my pleasure, miss. The maid looks up and down the hallway, her eyes lingering on the closed doors of the guest rooms. She steps closer. Is it true that you are a detective, miss? Ah, yes. Oh, that's excellent news, miss. I'm so glad you're here. Well, that's very nice to hear. Thank you, miss. It's Sophie, miss. Sophie, then. Thank you. I admit that that's not often the reaction people have when a detective comes to call. She giggles as she leads the way to the dining room. I can understand that, miss. But me and the cook, and most of the other servants, actually, we've been waiting for you to come. Really? Really? You can't have been waiting long. I only received the invitation last week. She giggles again, the sound almost saccharine. Oh no, we've known for months, miss. The late master was always talking about it, he was. How a detective would come. I'm sorry, and please forgive me for being indelicate. He was talking about his own death for months. It rather begs the question of why this investigation hadn't begun earlier. Ideally, one must think, whilst the potential victim was still alive. Oh, we didn't take it seriously, miss. Didn't really believe he meant it, you see. And he seemed to get a real kick out of it, the old gent. Had me read him crime novels in the evening sometimes, in the old library. He was always telling me, Just wait till I'm gone, Sophie. You'll get to see the real thing. But did he... Oh, here we are, miss. If you'll excuse me, I have to go help the cook serve up. Thank you, Sophie. Well, that's concerning also that the late father, I don't know what the name is, Mr. Graves, late Mr. Graves, was already planning for us to come and visit and to investigate his death. It is really suspicious. Why would that be? And with that, she's gone. I'm left standing outside the dining room entrance, somehow with more questions than answers. Looks like I'm the first one here. Ooh, what a pretty dining. I wonder if the maid collected me early so that she'd have a chance to talk to me. If so, I wonder why. I take the brief period of silence this closed room holds to settle my thoughts. It has become a little more difficult to keep my resolve to investigate seriously. It seems like Mr. Graves was potentially just a bit of a crime enthusiast. For all I know, he made up a new, open in the event of my death on this date, envelope once a day. Still, I can't quite fathom why he'd settled on me as his chosen investigator. There are detectives with twice my notoriety and decades more experience that would have jumped at the fee they offered. If this all turns out to be because Mr. Graves had a fancy for lady detectives, I will kick someone. Hello, is anyone there? The muffled voice comes from behind the closed doors. Yes? Fantastic. Could you open the door, please? It's rather urgent, I'm afraid. I hurry over to open the door. Who is it? I will probably also have to change the voice. Oh, hi. Oh, you have many plates and things. Oh. Hi. Are you the Haverly's son? I need to change the voice. Oh, thank goodness. Oh no, let me help you with those. Between the two of us, we managed to maneuver everything to the table without any spillages. Thank you so much. I think I rather overestimated my ability to carry certain things. Harder than it looks. I like your green. It's so fun. Why did you take so many? It seemed like a good idea at the time, is all I can say. The staff seemed to be having difficulties, so I thought I'd be a good guest and lend a hand. He glances down at the floor as if picturing exactly how his helpfulness would have ended without my help. In retrospect, I probably should have made more trips. Or asked for help. His quick glance at me is followed by a soft laugh. Or that. Something for next time. The man adjusts the last of the plates on the table before turning to me and extending a hand. Adrian, nice to meet you. I reached out and took his hand, giving it a polite shake before releasing it. Chantal, a pleasure. His eyes brighten. The detective! Oh, how exciting. My sister will be livid that I've met you first. There's something odd about a household where a detective is treated like the carnival has come to town. So you've obviously been told to expect me. Does everyone in the house know? I'm afraid so. Sorry, it's just that it's a bit unusual, you know. A detective coming to the wake, so to speak. Please tell me you're not being literal. I only found out about the will reading half an hour ago, and if there's a wake... His chuckle is low and warm. No, a bit of artistic license there, I promise. It's only the will reading. Well, and whatever detective-type activities you have planned, I suppose. You wouldn't be willing to give me a bit of a peek backstage on that one, would you? Considering that I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to do. No, sorry. I have to keep things close to my chest, you understand. Worth a try. The door is once again pushed open and more people begin filing into the room. Ah, there you are, all settled in, I hope. Yes, thank you. Good. Shall we, dear? A burst of ruckus laughter precedes the next arrivals. Self-satisfied man. He didn't like that, I'll tell you. Oh, so green. Oh, honey, you're so awful. The woman swats at him playfully, her hand lingering on his shoulder and displaying the shiny ring on her third finger in a movement that seems habitual. The man barely seems to notice as his eyes suddenly lock on me. Oh, is this her then? Yes, allow me to introduce Chantal, the detective. Chantal, this is my sister Fia, and her fiancé, Crispian. Oh, you met her first. How disappointing. Wow, they really do look alike. Fia leans towards me confidingly. I was going to ask you to pretend you were here to arrest him, you know. It would have been a right laugh. I can't actually arrest anyone. That's strictly a matter for the police. Yes, and it would be hardly believable coming from a woman, would it? I hate you, Crispian. Get out of my sight. Oh, please, sir. Will you fasten these handcuffs on yourself? I can't do it, or I'll ruin my nails. I hate you, Crispian. The couple erupts in laughter again, grating and shrill. Or that might just be my irritation talking. Actually, you will say these things, honey. Don't you remember that I played a policewoman once? To rave reviews. Oh, so you're an actress? Oh yeah, I do. You wore that skirt. His hand drops out of sight from the small of her back, and I am careful not to think about where it could be wandering. In point of fact, women have been in the London police force for the last 20 years. The two blink at me, and beside them, Adrian seems to be stifling his laughter. Then Fia noticeably gathers herself. Oh, I didn't including me when I was younger. Sorry about that. Well, how interesting. You'll have to tell me all about it later on. Just us girls. What have I done? Don't leave me out, Fia. I need the background. The son huffs loudly. Why are we still standing around? Adrian rolls his eyes, but Fia just shakes her head dotingly and patters over to sit by her fiancé at the table. Shall we? Let's. As I seat myself at the table, my eyes scan the other seating arrangements. It's always interesting to see what you can learn from the seating arrangement at a dinner like this. Despite this being a small gathering, they've obviously chosen a more formal arrangement, with the host and hostess seated at each end. Somewhat to my discomfort, it is myself rather than their son who they've chosen to seat as the guest of honor. Even more surprisingly, they've chosen to sit their son instead next to his fiancée, despite the general strictures against seating couples together. A calculated slight, or just the casualness of hosting family. Right as grace has been said, the husband is already leaning over to talk to Fia. His jovial laughter has no end in sight. Or perhaps for another reason. That left Crispian with his mother, which seems to be a fairly successful pairing, if somewhat one-sided. That leaves me with... When I turn to face Adrian, he looks up from his plate of food and winks at me. Sorry, didn't mean to leave you with no conversation. This food is just so excellent. You risked your life to deliver it, after all. And it was worth it. Just think, if I had ventured life and limb, only for the food to be wretched, unendurable. Well, luckily it didn't come to that. So I take it you're down for the weekend to accompany your sister. A bit unusual, some might say, having a chaperone for an actress. That is, but if that's what she wants. He shrugs before lowering his tone a bit. Besides, I must say that this is a bit of a professional opportunity for me as well. Oh, how so? For a moment, I'm afraid that he'll say that he's also an actor who's researching the life of a private detective. It would be right in line with the rest of my conversations here so far. Are you a writer? Oh, the will reading, of course. All these upper crusts going through one of the most dramatic moments of life. Money, family, old hatreds. A will reading has it all. There's a slight pause where I look at him steadily. His smile drops a bit. Although, of course, it's also very sad. So sad. I'm inconsolable. My gaze rests on him for the next few moments before I decide to let him off the hook. So, why do you need background exactly? Are you an actor as well? Oh god, no. Can you picture me on stage? Well, yes, easily. The two siblings aren't terribly alike, but in terms of being attractive, they're well matched. Oh no, how would the prop survive? Exactly, it'd be disastrous. Think of the production costs. But no, I'm quite happy working behind the scenes. I'm a set designer by trade, though I'd love to get into directing someday. I'm quite sure I could manage telling other people how to do things, rather than having to spend all my days with the dusty props. Ideal, really. You seem like you seem like quite the artistic family, then. Oh, yes. Sis has always been quite the actress, and I just followed her in. Although, that may change on her marriage. Oh, really? You think that she won't continue with her career? Many women do these days, you know. He glances over the table before dropping his voice to a whisper. Let's just say that I don't see her doing anything that Crispian doesn't want her to do. What are you two whispering about over here? Good timing. Nothing. Well, come and talk to me for a bit, won't you? We girls have to stick together. Oi, what about me? I'm sorry. Are you one of the girls? I'm going to talk to someone else. You do that. Despite having pulled me out of my conversation with her brother, Via doesn't actually seem that interested in talking with me at all. After a few moments of desultory chit-chat, she turns her attention back to her food. I do likewise, though at the same time I'm wondering, why exactly has she been so keen to interrupt us? Maybe because we were talking about Crispian and her relationship? After dinner, I walk back to the guest rooms with the brother and sister pair. Crispian has disappeared to the family wing, which is something of a relief. Sleep tight. You too. She enters the room next to mine. I wonder if it'll be possible for me to take notes. No, that's a bit too far. Oh, maybe. He's still muttering to himself as he enters one of the rooms on the opposite side of the hall. As I enter my own room and prepare for bed, I feel slightly on edge. There are a few too many strange characters in this house, even after accounting for the usual eccentricities of English nobility. I'm glad that I decided to take this investigation seriously. After all, for a detective, the worst crime would always to let one go by unnoticed. As I drift off to sleep, I hear a gentle tapping on my door. I thought I heard that. Is it Sophie, the maid? It goes unanswered. Day 1. On the reading of a will. Okay, I'm gonna save. And I'm gonna stop here. Thank you so much for watching part 1 of A Romantic Murder. I'm very excited about this. I don't know. It's interesting to see the characters so far. We haven't seen the valet again, but I'm sure he'll be there at the will reading. The family is interesting. I don't really like Crispian, but he's just kind of, he is sexist. And his fiance, Fia, who's the sister of Adrian. They're interesting. I'm not really sure what to think of them. And then the older couple, the daughter of the late Mr. Graves and her husband, they seem cute as a couple, but also I'm not really sure what they expect me to really do as a detective, because they seemingly don't even think I should be here, but it's just a request from the late Mr. Graves. So, I will be back soon with another part. If you haven't liked the video already, please like the video. If you'd like to see when my next video will be posted and when others will be posted, I will definitely be playing other visual novels. Please subscribe. I'll be back soon with more stuff. I generally post Monday through Friday, at least once a day, so lots of content to behold. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye!